Hello and welcome to this lesson on measuring volume. Right, now we've already talked about the other few days on measurement that we've dealt with, length and area. Now remember what we talked about in those ones was length was the distance between 2 points and that the area was simply the space enclosed by a 2D object. Now, volume is basically an extension of all of that, which is a 3D object in this case. So we're talking about the space enclosed by a 3D object. Right. Now, when we talk about calculating volume, we're going to basically work out what we did in area and in length, where we're going to multiply the two dimensions in area. But over here, because we've got 3 dimensions, we're going to multiply the three things by each other. So that length, the width, and the height. All right. Now, what we're going to do today is basically look at more practical applications of it. In other words, how to deal with certain measurements without having to calculate using so much of some calculator work. Right. Right. If we use a container to calculate its volume, like for example, if we want to work out how much water a container contains, it will be basically the capacity that we're working out. Now, basically, there's a difference between the two. Volume, when you talk about, let's say, the volume of this phone, for example, we're working at a solid object, its volume. But when you're talking about a liquid, let's say coffee or water, it is in a container. Now, that means we're going to work out its capacity. So basically, it's the same thing, but we're going to work out a different type of substance. Right. Now, the main units of volume are as follows. For solid volume, it will be in cubic millimeters, cubic centimeters, cubic meters, and cubic kilometers. All right. For capacity, it will be milliliters, liters, and kiloliters. Right now, you're going to find that in this section we're going to do today, you're going to need to know certain basic conversions. Like, for example, 1 liter is equal to 1,000 milliliter. 1 kiloliter is equal to 1,000 liters. All right. And also the basic conversion between a meter cubed and a liter. All right. We're going to go through all that just now. All right. So, examples. Right. I've got underneath my screen over here, I have a milk jug of 150 milliliters. All right. Let's say I ask you for a recipe that has 200 milliliters of milk. Now, is this going to be enough? Simple answer is no, because this 150 milliliters is less than 200 milliliters. Now, how much would be needed for that? If I wanted to actually make this recipe, how much milk would I need to actually make this recipe if I got 150? The answer is simply, you work out the difference, which is 15 milliliters. All right. Now that's a very easy example of what we're going to do today. All right. The second example. Let's say you have a cup of coffee or something like that, and it contains 250 milliliters of water. How many of those cups can be filled using a 2-liter container? Now, here's where we're going to start looking at the basic conversions. For example, I mentioned just now about 1 liter being 1,000 milliliters for this question. All right. So over here, we're going to say 2 liters is equal to 2,000 milliliters. Right. So if we want to work out how many milliliters are in 2 liters, we're just simply saying 2,000 divided by 250, which in this case is 8 cups. Right, example 3. Tabo needs to make concrete. The concrete mixture he buys has a ratio of 1:3. In other words, 1 liter of gravel to 3 liters of water. If he needs 1 cubic meter of concrete, how much gravel does he need? Now, notice that in this question, that is the total of the two combined, which means if we want to work out how much gravel is needed, we have to first of all separate this into its gravel component and into its water component. Now to do that, we first of all have to change this into liters, all right? Now, the basic conversion that you need to worry about over here is that 1 meter cubed is equal to 1,000 liters, all right? So we're going to change this into 1,000 liters. So we're going to actually be sharing 1,000 liters into the ratio 1:3. All right. Now, when we talk about sharing, remember we did this last term where we said, all right, if we're sharing into a ratio, we're going to simply work out the total of the ratio and then divide into it. All right, so let's do that quickly. 1 plus 3 is equal to 4. So that means we're going to divide that 1,000 into 4, which is 250, and then multiply by the number of parts that we want. So we're going to do that over here by saying, right, the gravel component is 1 part, which is over there, divided by the total part, which is the 4, times by this 1,000 liters, which is 250 liters of gravel. All right, now those basically are the different types of questions you could get. Now, there are other types of questions you can get, like example, how much is the cost of something if I give you the rate per liter and the number of liters. So basically, like yesterday, you simply multiply the two together. Okay. All right. Like for example, with that number 3. Okay. You're going to simply say that times by that. All right. Now, I want you to please do this this exercise for me. Try it out before the next lesson, and we'll go through it together at the next lesson. Okay.